And we are live, back with something new for you. Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to another episode of Hey, What's New with D and D, the other D. I'm Donny. I'm senior developer advocate covering Southeast Asia, working for AWS. And
I am Derek. I'm also a senior developer advocate, but this time I look after Australia and New Zealand. Hello.
hello. And together, we are bringing you the latest and coolest features from AWS with demos to help you get started. So, allow me to do an official introduction again for this series. Hey, what's new is a bi-weekly show where Derek and we bring you our picks from the AWS What's New blog and show you how to build something from what AWS has just released, but with code and demos. So, pop up your burning questions in the chat box, or you can simply give us feedback about the service that we are going to cover today. And this series is going on to AWS Twitch channel and also AWS user group communities. Um, so yeah, it's going to be really fun. So you can watch it anywhere you like. And if you miss our previous shows, you can visit this playlist. Let me pop up the playlist. Here you go. Yeah,
A
you
pleasure.
can visit this playlist and catch up with the latest updates. So I see something there in the chat. Oh, we have Satya. Hello, Satya. Welcome to Hey, What's New? Okay, so today is the sixth, two, three, yes, sixth episode of Hey, What's
Episode
New?
6, Tony. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's,
Well, there
time
time flies.
flies. Yeah, it sure does, man.
Yeah, we are having fun with this show. Okay, so okay, let's jump in. So Derek, what do we have for today?
Well, Donny, it's good you should ask. Today is a post that I've been wanted to talk about for some time. It's the release of Amazon Location Service, which although it went GA in June 1st, another release that came out even earlier was even later, so quite recent, was the support of Amplify Geo. So we're adding and the ability to provision Amplify location service, sorry,
Mm,
Amazon location service using Amplify. So I thought I'd bundle the two together and build some demos for everybody today.
cool. Let me pop up the your screen here so everyone knows the blog post we're talking about. Okay, so Derek, Amazon location service. This sounds really useful service. Can you show us what kind of use cases that we can build from Amazon location services?
Yep, absolutely, Donny. I'll go through a number of examples today, and I'll show you and I'll talk to where you would use the location service. But really, any application you have that has map functionality is a great place to start. So there's a lot of different things you can do on a map, and the great thing about Amazon Location Service, I'm just going to jump into it now, is you can have a play with it to show you, if you're not familiar with what to do with a map inside an application, they have this little explore part, and you can go in and you can explore the functionality of Amazon Location Service without writing any code, which is it's a great feature because not everybody knows what maps do. So I'll take you through it. So you have the concept of a map, and here's one here that you can display. But you can also do, and it's called place index here, but in technical terms, it's called geocoding and reverse geocoding. So what that entails is you can type in a place. So Donny, where are you at the minute?
I'm in Singapore.
Singapore. Okay, so if I type in Singapore, it will then show me that there's Singapore in British Columbia, but there's also Singapore here. So
Oh,
I can
nice.
go
Okay.
in. So I'll put a pin on the map, and it will geocode. So it will change the location, so the text into a location, so a latitude and longitude. And then I can zoom in, and that's Singapore. As well as that, I'll skip root calculator to later. Maybe you have some questions around root calculator. But also you can add geofences.
Mm.
So a geofence is where you can actually draw on the map a area.
Oh,
You put a
nice.
geofence around
Okay.
Singapore, and that, well, it's quite a rough geofence, and you can use that to define an area. And why do you want a geofence? Well, maybe you want a tracker, and so you can attach this tracker, which you're going to define. Maybe it could be a bus, maybe it could be somebody walking with a mobile phone, and you can track a vehicle into the geofence. So it says event type enter, and then you can keep going, and then once it goes out, you got an event type exit. So that's how you can use trackers along with geofences to build events. So that that's a nice little entry into what the location service can do and the functionality you can build inside your application. Now, this is just inside the console. There's a RESTful API into all of these that I'm going to show you how to build out actual applications. So I'm going to use React, and you usually start off with a thing called a map.
Mm.
So I'm going to create a map, and this is another thing that's great about location services. I actually quite like this service a lot. It actually shows you if you're stuck where to get this SDK and then how to use it. And the guide is excellent. And then, so you can create a map. I'll call it Donny Map. This is Donny Map.
That's my map.
Um, Donny Map, and with a Y. Donny Map with an IE. Sorry,
Thank
Donny.
you, Derek.
And then I can choose a type. So
Mm.
Esri Light, Esri Street Map. There's two there's two third-party vendors that we use for maps. Esri is one of them, and the other one is here. So I can choose one of these maps. I'm going to choose well, that's not going to render very well, an Esri Street map. And then once I've created that, choose the pricing plan. So there's two types of pricing plan. You can either use it for a sample environment, and if you hit yes, then that's a very straightforward price per request. And if you hit no, it'll ask you to try and model your prices. But I'm going to hit yes and continue along that, and then I'm going to go and create a map. So this creates a map. As you can see it here, but you actually want to put it into other application.
Yes.
So not only has the location service teams provide you an SDK and all of great documentation, they also have samples in AWS samples. So the sample I'm going to go through today is in here, and it's called MapLibra. So MapLibra is how we render. It's an open source library that we're using to render these maps in React, and I have basically just cloned this repo. I'll take you through it. So this is how you get started. It's so easy to get started. So if I just make Visual Studio, can you see that, Donny? Is that coming through okay?
Can you zoom
Make it
in
big,
a
make
bit?
it bigger, make it a
Yes,
little bit
please.
bigger, and yep, there we go. One more.
One more. Yeah, oh, this is fine. Thank you.
Perfect. Okay, so here we have, I've literally cloned this repo,
Mm.
and it has an index.txx file. And inside the index.txx file, there is a map name. So I'm going to call this Johnny Map, right?
Yes.
This will look up the maps that I have. And the way that it knows what account to look up is it uses Amplify. So if I go Amplify status, so Amplify, if you haven't used it before, is a great way of provisioning and interacting with AWS backends. So you can see if I do Amplify status, you'll see I've got the auth category defined inside my application. So what I've done, I have signed all my requests from my client into my backend, right? And this will enable me to render a map of my choice. So this time I'm going to render the new map I've created, which is Donny Map. It grabs my credentials using the auth directive from Amplify, and then it draws a map. So this is a mapping framework called React Map GL, which we actually transform in using Krakow from Mapbox to MapLibra. So this is a bit of mapping. So if you're a mapping nerd, you'll get that. Otherwise, it just draws a map,
Okay.
and then you define things like height, width, and the viewport. So the viewport is well defined. It is a set of latitude, longitude um, over in the globe. So I'm going to just do a search of the. Do you know the latitude and longitude of Singapore?
Oh no, I don't have any.
Lat long of Singapore. So there it is. If you just Google this, it'll come up. So there's oh, you're right on the equator. So latitude
Yes,
is
it's very sunny today.
1.112, and the longitude is this is 103 and a bit. So I've saved that. Paste. Yep, save. So that's it. I've set the viewport and I've set the map. So if I go npm start to run this, it should pull up a browser and display Singapore with my map. There it is. How are you following so far, Donny? Are you a map geek like me?
I'm not a map geek, but I love trying to find my way throughout the cities. So yeah, so far I'm loving it. So that means that Derek, that we can create our map and then we can put it into our application.
Yep.
And following your steps that you just shown to us, that's pretty simple.
Yep. There it is.
Oh, okay.
So there is Singapore, and at the minute it's just a map. So I'm rendering this map in a browser, thanks to that code.
I see. Okay.
Yep.
Cool. This is amazing. So um, um I have a questions.
Yep.
Couple of questions actually. Like, so with this map that we can define, what you mentioned about the geofencing and then
Yep.
putting some tracker into it. So, is all of those features of Amazon Location Service needs we need to build map first?
Yeah, so what you need a way of grabbing, I'm going back to the location service itself. There we go. You need a way of grabbing maps. So there's a number of things that you can do. So I mentioned before that you can search, so reverse geocode and geocode. So that calls out to third-party Esri or here APIs and returns results. So
Okay.
the data that comes back from there is encrypted. So what we do, we send an anonymous request to the Esri endpoint, as the example, with a coordinate system, and it'll return the result. So that's the way we use that. Other things, other functionality, like, and I'll show you this functionality in a bit. Trackers and uh, trackers and oh, I've forgotten. What's the other piece of functionality? Yes,
I can see there's a
trackers.
geofence collections and broad calculators.
Yeah. So the geofences and trackers. So the actual information that you're creating and storing, that's stored securely on inside your own AWS account.
Oh,
But
I see.
any search functionality and stuff that calls out to the third party APIs and is
Cool.
anonymized. So that's an interesting fact to know about location services. So
That's
location
interesting.
service.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay, last question, and this is out of my curiosity. I've noticed that it has a surface route calculator. It sounds
Yes.
really cool. Can you tell us more about it?
It is. It is. It is. It is, Donny. So let's see what it looks like. So in my demo that I'm going to show you next, I actually haven't got round to implementing the route calculator
Yeah.
because I built it this morning, as you know. But let's see how how we can do a route. So I live in Perth, and if I just go to Perth, which is down here, because I know the roads of Perth. So with the route calculator, you can define a start point. So this is a start point. So if you go to route calculator, you can do select the travel mode first. So either car, truck, or walk. I like walking. So I define a departure time. So I can either go no traffic, live traffic, or a future date. So I'll go live traffic. So now you'll see what happens. I can define start point. I can define an end point, and then it will go calculate route. So that will calculate how long it will take me to get from there. From distance,
Wow.
1 kilometer, it'll take me 17 minutes. Or, I choose I want to get a bus, and then I can go. Oh, the bus will take me 4 kilometers because that's the route it goes, but it will be faster. So obviously, the applications that you can put this in are widespread. Anything that uses a map, you want to calculate distance, you can get using Amazon Location Service. You can get you know different routes, different modes of transport, how long they'll take, and then your app can return the fastest one if you want, or feed it back to the user and stuff like that. So it's a cool feature as well.
And all of these features, Derek, that we can easily integrate with API or just using SDK that have been provided.
Yep. So that's the next demo. So I'm going to show you how to make a bit more sophisticated application that uses an Amazon location service. So what we're going to do now is we're going to build an application that actually implements a place index. So if you remember, a place index is a way of reverse geocoding or geocoding something. So what you do, if any functionality you want to add to an Amazon location service enabled application, you create it. So a place index, I've created a place called track place index, and this is the index itself. And then if I show you the code of how I implement it, let's get rid of that. We'll bring that in, and let's just make this smaller and this a bit bigger. There we go. So you're in the code itself. Let's just get rid of that. So again, this is code that was available on the internet, and I started playing with this morning, so 4 hours ago, and I built this application I'm going to show you now. And I'll give you links to the code as well. So in the application, I'm defining a couple of things: the name of the map that I'm going to use, the place index that I'm going to use, the tracker. I'll show you that in a minute, and a device. So I'm going to build something that searches, that tracks a device, and will add a geofence to a map. So what the application actually looks like. That up, and I'll show you the part that actually does the lookup. So it's just loading, and I'll take you through the how this the functionality of the application. So it's just starting up. Starting up. Oh, there it is. I hit waiting. So the first thing you got to do is, because we are using this time we're using things in the account, so devices, trackers, geofences. We need to sign in. So I've created a user, and this will authenticate me to my backend. Now, once I'm signed in, the map should render. We're not rendering. Got a point. We've got now got to render. Hold that, and this is where I go to Dev Tools because this is live demo. And work out what my 400 and a 403. let's go back into my code. Where's my code gone? There it is. So I think I've got map name wrong. So I've got street map
Map.
demo tracker. That's right. May have made a change and not saved it. But track place index, dex, demo tracker. That's right. My car. Okay. Yeah, that was it. So I didn't hit Control S. So let's get that back in.
That happens, Derek.
No, no, Johnny, it doesn't. It doesn't. No, no. So let's get this back in.
Okay. While waiting, for everyone who's watching, if you have any questions, just put them in the comment box. You can put it on the Twitch chat box, or if you are watching from the AWS UC Group Facebook channel, you can put it on the comment box as well.
Cool. So as you can see, I was born in Belfast, which is in Northern Ireland. And this I was able to search for. So again, I've added the search to my app. So currently I live in Perth, so I can search for Perth, and it will bring me to Perth. I can search for Singapore, and it will bring me to Singapore. So that is the geocode, reverse geocode. And what I've done is once it returns a result, I'll put a pin in that space, and I'll change the viewport to actually go to the pin. And the code for that, I'll quickly step through it. Is so we go to the service, we handle a change. This is it here. So on click, we submit a search event, and it goes to the handle change, which will move the pin.
Mhm.
And what it does, it sets the viewport, and that then displays the map. It searches the place for index for text. So this is the API call it actually calls. Puts in the place, gets the coordinates back, and sets the viewport to the coordinates and puts the marker. So that's all it is. That's a couple of lines of code to do that search functionality, which is really cool. So the next piece of functionality I'm going to put in is a bit more difficult. I'm going to start to track a
Yeah.
device. So
I see that button there, and I've been wondering what that button for. But we're waiting for you to
well,
demonstrate for
wonder
us.
wonder no more, Donny.
Thank you.
So so what I've done, I have created a geofence. Um, Here it is, a geofence called Ireland. So I've created a geofence beforehand around Ireland, and I've created a tracker. So a tracker is a way of storing device information that you send up to the server, and it will plot that information on a map. So I've got this tracker called Demo Tracker 2. Okay, so what I can then do is if I go back to my code, I can go into here, and I have built a send new location. So what I'm simulating here is my device, starting at latitude 54 minus 5. It will loop, and every actually 10 seconds, it will send a location update with the tracker name to the back end, and then it will move a little bit. So if I start sending that tracker, so what I'm doing, I'm sending the device. My demo tracker 2 is my my tracker file, and then my car is my device. So that'll start sending stuff to the back end, and then if I go into my map and hit track, you'll see that I now have a 2 on the map, and this is the tracker starting. So it's got 2 points that it's going, and what will happen now? It will keep moving. It'll keep moving away until it actually leaves Ireland, right? And because I've created a geofence around Ireland, it allows me to create an event. So the next stage, the bit of the demo, is I actually created an event. Amazon Location Service will send events to EventBridge. So as Amazon EventBridge is how we can handle events and then push them to other services. So I've created a rule in EventBridge called Amazon Location Monitor Ireland. And in here, I'm going source is AWS Geo, detail type location geofence event type is exit, and the geofence ID is Ireland. So as as my geofence, and here he goes trying to escape. As my geofence then goes, I can using EventBridge, I can say that once this happens, I can create an SMS rule. So I've created an SMS topic. And what it will do, it will location event. It will email me once somebody, so that track leaves Ireland, and so I could get notified when the thing I'm tracking tries to escape. So it's a great use case. So I'm going back to see going back into event page, and you'll see that if I go to my rule, and you go into the rule again, I can actually see the metrics for the rule. And this is straight into CloudWatch. Nice little metric. And you can see that it's executed. So I have executed, and I should have an email. I've actually closed my email for the show. So yeah, and then I'll get an email, and yeah, that was it. It was there.
So that's really nice. I mean, with the Amazon location service, we can create a geofence, and then we can detect the event and integrate with Amazon Event Bridge. And there you go.
Yep.
You get the email from
You get the
SNS.
email. Yep. So
No,
that's a cool little feature you build in
yeah,
using location service,
cool.
and it was really easy to do. Again, the code
Mm,
was I it was really simple in terms of you get a device position and you start tracking it. And so you can grab the device position history, which is the API call we're using for this. And for every position, you'll set it in the map, change the viewport, and then you can use that to plot it in the map. And when one of those points goes outside or creates an exit event on your geofence, because remember, way back when we were creating everything in locations and services, we service we created. If we go to my tracker, so we had a tracker. You can see that the demo tracker had a
yeah,
geofence, so it was
yep,
linked to the Ireland geofence. So that's how that all hangs together.
I see.
It's very cool.
Yeah, that's really straightforward. We do have one question coming from the audience, Derek. I'm going to show it on the screen. I know that you show it
Yep.
way back. The question is from Facebook user. Hello, Facebook user. How
Oh,
to track live location of any device, car on map? I think I'm probably need
just did it.
we need to elaborate this. Probably how that we can integrate with IoT device,
Yep.
and then how to tie it back to Amazon location service.
Yep. So you see here what I did. I used the AWS SDK to set,
Yes.
and I sent an event. So I did it like so I used AWS location batch update device position. Now this is just one way you can do it, but if you go to the excellent documentation, so let me show you. So in location service, say you've got a tracker, you hit on trackers, you go, well, how do you use it? So let's look at the SDK, and it will put, um, show you what platform SDKs you can use. So the standard tools SDK, so C++, Go, Java, JavaScript, Net, Node, PHP, Python, and Ruby, as well as the front end SDK, so iOS, Android, and JavaScript. You can all use those to implement a similar event generation. So you can send a location if you've got a phone and you're using the iOS phone, you can use the iOS library to send that event to the server. So that's how you do it.
That's really cool. So we have flexibilities. If you want to do server-side coding with Amazon Location Service, we can use the following SDK, and we also have support from the client side, like AWS Amplify and the MapLibra GL libraries. That's
Yep.
really cool.
And there's also a direct HTTP endpoint. So if you haven't got any of those, you can also go direct and sync for
SDKs.
the request, which is that's as flexible as it gets really. Um, the other thing I wanted to show you was the Amplify developer preview. So when I was showing you, how to create it via the UI, how to go to Tracker, create Tracker, and stuff like that. With the Amplify Geo developer preview, you can just go Amplify add Geo, and then like Amplify does, it'll prompt you to show just to ask you which part of Geo you want to add. So that's a nice way of doing it. From the CLI and not having to go into the console. So just something to check out as well. It's a developer preview, so yeah, it comes with all that caveat.
Oh, that's really cool. Thank you for sharing, Derek. Okay, so let me check if there's any questions. I think we're good. Um, Thank you, Derek. Now,
No
before we
worries,
end
Johnny.
these sessions, do you have any practical tips or wise advices for our fellow developers who are going to use Amazon Location Service? I know because you mentioned that you built everything within 4 hours, and that's
Yeah,
amazing. I
yeah.
believe that you have a lot of tips that you can show it to us.
Yep. So I got the code, the two demos I showed you. The first one I got from AWS samples, and I just customized it a bit. The second I got from one of my fellow DAs, Marcia. She built an application, and I just pulled that apart and built a special version for D&D, which was the second demo that I showed you. Um, so stuff like root calculator, it's even cooler than I said, because you can not only go start and end, you can actually have 23 waypoints in the middle as well, which is very cool. So that's another addition you can use for calculating routes, and I'll probably continue working on this demo and add route calculation next. And that's my second point. Be careful. This is cool to use. So you will get sucked in, and you will spend days just playing with location service if you're a map geek like myself. Um, Also, yeah, if you don't forget that anything you build in AWS, you apply least privilege. So you will have to add IAM roles to access each of
Yeah,
the individual services that the location service provides. So remember least privilege. Um, Amplify location Amplify Geo is a dev preview, so yeah, be warned. And yeah, just have fun. It's a really fun thing to start building, and yeah, I had fun this morning.
that's the highlight
Oh,
of the advice. Have fun with Amazon Location Service, right? Okay.
yes,
So
yes, and check out my demo repo. You'll see where is it? Have we got it
I
on the screen
already,
share
yep. Um, Let me
somewhere.
pass it out again.
You'll see that everything was pushed literally an hour ago.
An
That one.
hour ago.
Yeah, yeah. 2 hours ago. There we go. um, so that's the repo. Location service React app. Cool. I'm done. Sorry, Danny.
Okay, so
I
I'm
love this.
passing
It's good
the
stuff.
your repo link to the chat.
Awesome.
There you go. Okay. Okay, so I think that's it for today, folks. Let us know what you think, and you post them in the comment or chat box. You can also reach out to either of us on our Twitter handles. Um, I'm at Donny Prakoso, and Derek is at DCorp.
Deco.
And
Whoa, what have we done? Yep. Oh.
Yep.
Uh,
Uh, you can also reach out to us using email, and you can reach out to us at AWS APJDA streaming at amazon.com.
that's
Okay,
us. Yep,
that's us. Okay.
that's us.
I think that's all. Thank you for watching. Have a great weekend and happy coding.
See you, folks. Thanks,
Bye
Donny,
bye.
you legend.
Thank you, Derek. You're awesome.